heart of Europe, whose lives count for nothing.
He put a gun to my head and said, "I'm going to shoot you." He took my cell phone and smashed it. "I'll throw you away," he said, "and no one will remember you. You never existed."
They wanted to escape poverty. Instead, they fell prey to sex traffickers.
I resisted and cried and told him I didn't want to do that. Then came the threats and the brutality. He said he'd tell everything to my family too.
Sold into slavery, treated as a commodity, they sell sex for less than a pack of cigarettes.
Some women in our district are so poor they charge just €4 for sex.
Germany is seen by many as Europe's brothel. We meet a woman who's looking to change that. Julia Vega is a lifeline to them. Sasha and Ellie escaped out of sex slavery thanks to her help. They're both from Bulgaria. They grew up in impoverished conditions in the countryside and each fell in love with a man who promised them a life in wealthy Germany. It was only when Sasha arrived here that she realized she'd have to do sex work.
Obviously, I refused. But he threatened to kill me and said no one would know where I was. He held me captive for 2 or 3 days, and then he put me to work. I'm convinced now that he had actually planned it all along. But when you're in love, you're just blind to everything else and you don't realize it.
The boyfriend model is a common method used by sex traffickers. Once they've got control over the woman, they beat her into submission.
I had to serve at least 15 or 20 clients a day. So you can reckon around €50 per client. But at the end of the month, I was only given €200 or €300. He took everything else. Everything.
Such as Romania. Here, prices are lower than in Germany, but the sex trade has been less impacted by the pandemic. Sex work is illegal here, but many police officers just look the other way or even earn from the trade themselves. Romania is one of the most corrupt countries in Europe.
The European Union needs to take action to support the victims. If they get sent home, they land right back in the place they left to escape poverty. After all, they didn't leave because things were okay. So, they'll go to countries where sex work is better paid, like Germany, Switzerland, Belgium, or France, or wherever their pimp takes them. Where there's demand for their services, an opportunity to carry them out.
60% of sex workers in Europe come from Romania and Bulgaria, and nearly half of them are minors. Liliana was still a child when she fell into the hands of a sex trafficker. Her mother started a new relationship and gave her to a man who offered her and other girls to people traffickers.
The pimp lined us up in the middle of the street. There were 13 or 14 of us, I don't remember exactly. We stood there like chickens. And he asked the guy, "Which one do you want?" And the other guy pointed to me. I was a minor. They thought I was about 17, but I wasn't even 14.